Good evening, everybody. God bless you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Good evening. Welcome to Hilton Hills. Come on in. God bless you. God bless you. Welcome to Hilton Hills. Come on in, come on in. Let me just give you some time to come on in. Let me give you some time to know that Hilton Hills is on the air. Hills and Hills is on the air. Welcome everyone to Hills and Hills. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Just let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm trying to get all these devices together. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. Welcome, welcome. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to Hilton Hills. We are here tonight honoring women. This is the last day for Women History Month. Women History Month. This is the last day, but we know that we honor women every day. Every day women should be honored. There are so many women that have came before us. And I'm excited. I'm excited on tonight. Even though it's Women History Month, I have a phenomenal young lady here who's going to tell her story. Not his story, but she's going to tell her story. Welcome, welcome, welcome. God bless you. God bless you all. Don't see. God bless you. They're texting me saying they don't see it on Facebook Live. Do you guys see it on Facebook Live? Come on, put it in the comments. Let me know if you can see me because I see it on my device. I see it on my device, but someone's texting me saying they don't see it. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. Come on in the room. I see we have people coming in. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. We are excited on tonight. We're excited on tonight. Come on, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. I see it on one device, but I don't see it on the other. Let me just try to work this out because we have a phenomenal woman on tonight, and I want everyone to be able to hear. Okay, I see it on both devices. All right, so hopefully we're being seen. Hopefully we are being seen. Listen, I'm excited. I'm excited about tonight. I'm excited about this phenomenal woman that we have on tonight. She is going to tell her story. We know that this is Women's History Month. This is the last day, but women, we should be honored, and we honor you each and every month. And I wanted this young lady to come on because I've watched her grow up. I've watched her just blossom into this beautiful woman, this beautiful, strong, independent woman. And I just want her to just come. And the theme of this is pearls of wisdom, and I just want her to come and just give us some wisdom, give us some little nuggets on how she's doing it, how she's done it. I'm gonna bring her in. I'm gonna bring her in. I'm going to bring her in. And listen, when I bring her in, I want you to welcome her. I want you to just put in the comments, hello, hello, hello. I'm going to bring her in. Okay. Everybody say hello. Say hello. Say
Hello.
hello.
Hi.
Hold on one second. Okay, I think we're good. Everybody say hello, Nakia.
Hello. Hello.
Listen, listen, I'm so grateful that you have consented and to be a part of Hills and Hills, Pearls of Wisdom. And as I was saying that I've watched you like grow up to be this wonderful woman,
Thank
just you
you.
being a strong woman. And I believe that someone like that, you gotta have some little nuggets, have some little jewels to share with the people. And so, first of all, just begin to introduce yourself. We do have a couple of people on. We're not going to wait any longer.
Okay.
We're not going to wait. No, we're going to just jump right on into it. This is Nakia Bryant. She is my cousin. So we're family.
Yes. Yes, we
Family,
are.
family, and I'm grateful. As I stated, I've watched her grow up. I've watched her just blossom into this beautiful woman. And we know that every day is not peaches and cream, but just how do you do it and just stay so dedicated and just stay so focused and faithful, true, and be true to yourself. All right. So just tell us a little bit about Nakia Bryant. Where did you grow up? Just tell us a little bit about how it all started.
Okay, so my name is Nakia Bryant. For those of you that don't know me, I'm so glad that my cousin Laquetta Maxwell invited me tonight. Thank you, Quita. We call her Quita. So I'm honored that you would, have me come on. I'm just a regular girl from Central Islip, from Long Island, New York. That's where I grew up. That's where I was born and I was raised. I went to school there, graduated from high school there. Went on to college. I actually stayed local because I was very active in my grandmother's church. My grandmother was a pastor at the time. And so I was very active in her church. So I made the decision not to go away to college. And so I stayed local. I started out the State University of New York at Farmingdale. And then I ended up transferring into the State University of New York at Stony Brook, which is where I graduated from. So I am a college graduate. And then from there, I started my career shortly after, in lieu of going to graduate school. In pursuit of law school, actually, was my original intent, which that'll all tie into everything later. But that was my original intent, was that I was going to pursue law school. But I started my career instead. And then I moved out east. So I live quite close to my job. I live further east now on Long Island, still in Suffolk County. But I'm literally just your regular average girl from CI.
Okay. Now hold on 1 second because they're saying they don't see the live.
Okay.
Hold on. Your mom is actually on saying that she doesn't see it. I see it on my
also.
Do you see it on your page?
So I don't see it on my page, but I do see it when you have to click your face like you're gonna go into your stories, and then you can get into the live.
Okay, so no, only the post. Okay, we're gonna have to work this out. She can't see it. Your mama says she don't see it, which means, but I see it on my page. I don't understand. Only the She said only the flyer. Okay, let me see what I have to do here.
Let me see.
Click on the profile picture. It isn't working. I have it public.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just see, making sure that it's public.
Mm-hmm.
And people are commenting. So, okay.
Hey, Mickey. Oh, I can only see the comments on the phone, so I'm gonna go
Okay. So, some people are commenting. Some people are saying that they can see us, and some people are saying that they cannot. So, I believe that we are able to be seen. Okay. So, the one that said she couldn't see, she's on now. Okay. All right. So listen, technical difficulties. We want to just make sure everything is okay.
Okay.
We want to just make sure that everyone's able to hear us, so everyone can see. Okay, and they can hear. All right. So listen, we're gonna just start this thing all over again.
Okay. You ready to talk?
We're ready to talk now that we know that we're seen, we're being heard. Y'all can just drop your comments in the comment section, just so we can know that you're there. Teresa, we see you. It's saying Facebook user, your name is not there. A lot of people. Okay. All right. So just drop your comments in the comment section. And as she's talking, if you have any questions you want to ask her, you can put it in the comment section and we will be sure to answer your questions. Okay. So Nakia, if you can just start over once again and just let us know who Nakia Bryant is.
Yes, so I am Nakia Bryant. Nice to meet all of you guys again. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to my cousin Laquita Maxwell for inviting me. I'm honored to have been considered for this platform, Pearls of Wisdom Healed in Heels. So I was just explaining that I'm just your regular girl from Central Islip, New York. I grew up in Long Island, NCI. I went to school there. I graduated from high school there. From there, I went to college. I started out at the State University of New York at Farmingdale, transferred into the State University of New York at Stony Brook. That's where I graduated from. Not shortly after did I start my career, but I was intending on going to law school. That was my original intention, and I started my career not shortly after, and that'll tie in later. But I'm just your typical, just regular girl from CI, just regular girl. I know they say CI is Coney Island, but we're not in the city. We're in Long Island, okay? So it's Central Islip, CI. That's where I'm from. I'm just your typical regular girl from CI. So
Okay,
here we are.
okay. Your typical regular girl from CI. That was then, and this is now. What
Yes.
do you do now? What does this typical girl from CI, Central Islip, not Coney Island,
Okay.
what do you do now?
Okay, so I am currently working for the sheriff's office. I work for the sheriff's office in Suffolk County here. I am a corrections officer. I am currently fulfilling my 20th year. I am in my 20th year. So I started quite young. I was 23 when I started. Like I said, I had graduated college and I was going to go into law. I was in pursuit of law school, and the county offered this job. I had taken the civil service test. So I'm not beneath civil service test. Listen, whatever means you need to take to get to where you need to go, I am all for that. It's not necessarily about working harder all the time. It's about working smart as well. So I'm definitely an advocate for having other avenues to get to the same end result, to the same goal. Get to your pension, get to a livelihood, get to living, get to making money any way that you can. It doesn't necessarily always, maybe, going to college for 10 or 20 years to be that doctor or that attorney, maybe that isn't for you. There are other programs, other things out there that can be of interest, whether it's nursing, whether it's radiological technology, these other programs that are shorter amounts of times in school, even a trade school that can offer you the opportunity to live well. So I sat for a civil service test, and look, here I am 20 years later. I have 5 years to go to retirement. I'll be 48 years old. Thus and so, it's afforded me the opportunity to purchase a home. I purchased a home when I was 29. Different things. It's afforded me to have the lifestyle that I have. So it's about working hard and working smart. I always like to say that you can work hard, but you also can play hard too. And there's nothing wrong with that. So that's what I do. I'm currently a corrections officer. Again, 20 years. I work Monday through Friday. The Lord really blessed after 15 years of having a rotating schedule. I was unable to meet my Sunday obligations in church every single Sunday because of my job. And after 15 years, I really just prayed and said, listen, this is something that I want to be committed to. I don't want to keep missing services, these Sundays for these months at a time. And he really did open a door where I was able to get in Monday through Friday based on my seniority. So I work Monday through Friday now. I work in an office where I am responsible for housing, and I'm responsible for programming within my building. So I'm in charge of placing individuals that are eligible, seeking out their eligibility, screening them to be eligible for our veterans program, for the Sheriff's Addiction and Treatment program, for the males, as well as our seniors program. So that's what I currently do now. I'm in an office and have 5 years to go, and I'm loving that, living the Jill Garcia dream.
Wow. Wow. That is a lot. And you started at such a young age. And you mentioned going to church and, being, having to miss some Sunday services. So how does church, how does your belief, how does your religion, how does all of that play into who you are, how you got there, just staying focused, staying still faithful to God and staying true to who you are while maintaining all of this?
Okay, so ultimately, for me, God is the center of everything, and we try to keep him, in the center so that, or keep him first rather, so that it keeps us grounded. It certainly kept me grounded, and that's not to say that haven't had my share of processes along the way. Life is a journey. Life is a process. We're always going to go through something. We're always going to, maybe waver to and fro or whatever the case may be. But keeping the focus predominantly on Christ, on, you know, keeping God as my center has always kept me grounded in everything that you do. Because at the end of the day, no matter what we do, it's always going to circumvent us and revert us right back to the Lord. So my motto is, it's always been, listen, at the end of the day, if I'm going to have to go through it, listen, the test and the trial is coming, whether you like it or not. It's going to happen, whether you like it or not, right? We'd rather go through it with him than without him. So we might as well take him along the journey wherever we're going. Sometimes we make a few detours. Sometimes we get a little off track, but just keep him centered. Keep him as the focal point. Keep him as the center. And I promise you, you'll always stay grounded. So that's helped me along the way. Whether you're struggling in your faith, whether you're struggling in your church, whether you're struggling at your job, whether you're struggling in your home, in your marriage, whatever it is with your children, you keep Christ as your focal point, and he'll, you know, do his due diligence to get you centered and focused right back into place to where you need to be. Because as we know, all things work together. So even the good and the bad, everything is working together, no matter what we do, for the good of those that love him and are called according to his purpose. So it's purposeful that you're going through what you're going through in life, no matter where you detour, no matter what decision you made, it's still all purposeful. So we're keeping him in the center, keeping him as the focal point, and it keeps us centered as we keep him centered, or at least that's what he's done, and is what it's done for me.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Keeping God your focal point, keeping God in the center of everything that you're going through, keeping God in the center of even your challenges. So from the time that you graduated high school, went on to college, became a CEO, there for 20 years, what are some of the challenges that you had to encounter that you said, all right, Lord, I'm putting you in the middle of this? What are some of the challenges and how did you overcome them?
Okay, so I mean, there are, you know, obviously naturally just growing as an individual, as a woman. I am a single woman. I don't have any children. I am, like I said, soon to be 43 years old. That can be a challenge, or has even been a challenge for me. Like so many other women, I'm sure, in the same position. Um, a job such as mine that's in law enforcement can be difficult, being a woman of color, being you know, so that's, you're already two minorities against you, being a faith-based woman of color, you know, that can present some challenges where there are some things that necessarily you're not customarily used to doing or saying, or being in those types of arenas. You have to make those adjustments, you know, not jeopardizing your faith and not jeopardizing your job, you know, and coming to a compromising position of working through those journeys and those parts of life. Going back to even being single, and, you know, like I said, I was even afforded to be able to the opportunity to purchase a home so very young. People often ask me, like, here, oh, you're not afraid, you know, to live alone? I've been living alone for how long? You know, my entire adult life, practically most of my adult life, I've been living alone. And it's like, yes, of course, you have that challenge of, you know, wanting a companion. I do desire a husband. I pray for a husband. I welcome that. You know, I've been engaged, actually. I was engaged one time in my life. I was very young. So it's not that I haven't had relationship. I've had relationship. I've even had failed relationships. Okay. But there is something about coming in covenant with a person that I'd like to see in a permanent, at more of a permanent level. And that has not happened as of yet. So I've, you know, been in a place where I'm sure so many women have been, where, you know, you spend a lot of tears, and a lot of nights crying because there's no companion. There's no one there to console you, to hear about your day, to, you know, kind of be in that boat with you, in that relationship boat. But what I realize is that I'm living in my moment now. I spent a lot of that time and with those tears, and it was wasted opportunity for living in the moment. I wasn't really living, because I was kind of living vicariously through a hope and a dream. Well, you know what? I remember when I purchased my house the first couple of years, I said, you know, I don't want to invest too much into the house. I'm not gonna, I want to change this wall color, and I want to do this to the bathroom, and I want to do that to the kitchen, but I'm probably going to get married. I won't be here long. I'm only going to be here for 2 years. And I was living through that hope and that dream, in that space of, this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. And yes, yes, it's going to happen for me. But what am I doing in my meantime?
Come
What am
on.
I doing in my now time? And how am I utilizing that time wisely, or am I crying about where I am now and not seeing and rejoicing for where I'm gonna be or where I'm going, and using the best ways and the best means to live a life that's fulfilling and satisfying where I am. So once I got to that place of realization, listen, it's like sky's the limit. You can take off running, because we know the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but he that endureth until the end. So it's about endurance. And how are you weathering the storm? Are you gonna roll with the punches? Or are you just gonna, every time the enemy hits you and he lands the punches, they're gonna knock you out? Or are you going to live in that space and say, you know what, I'm happy here because I'm still victorious, because I'm still a conqueror, because I'm still alive, because I'm still blessed, because I'm still favored, and because I know where I'm going. The Bible says that he is going to bring us to an end that is expected. So he knows where he has us to go. He knows the thoughts that he has toward us, those of good and not of evil, right? So that to bring us to that end that's expected. So I lived a little bit of time in that space, a lot of time. Some people are living in that space right now of tears, of feeling like, you know what, when is it going to happen for me? When am I? But what are you realizing about what you have in the moment? I have a home. I have a job. I have a pension. I have a life. I have family. I have a love. I have friends, grounded friendships, good friendships that are just not pulling off of me, but also that are pouring into me. And that's a season that we go through too, where when are you being pulled off of so much that you're not being poured back into, that you're not being fulfilled? We're always being a help, all things to all people. We're always constantly being a help to everyone else. But who's helping us? Who's in our ear, fulfilling us and encouraging us and helping us to go ahead and push ahead in our process and in our purpose? So that's where I'm here to just kind of encourage us as women, to tell us, listen, it's okay to be in an uncomfortable space. Just realize that the space that you're in, one, if you have God as the center, it can be fruitful there just the same. The grass is not always greener on the other side, but it's green right where you are until you get there. So,
Ooh, you have said a mouthful. You said you said a mouthful, and it's so encouraging. Excuse me, to know that you build and you are building your life, right? And you mentioned that you're not married, but you do desire to be married. And like you stated, some women, they get stuck, and they're waiting for that ship to come in instead of practicing mindfulness, being appreciative to where you are and enjoying it where you are, because you are exactly where God wants you to be at this moment and at this time. But a lot of times we don't appreciate where we are. We're looking for the future, the things that I want, the things that I want to happen. So you have just dropped so many jewels and so many little wisdom nuggets, I like to call them, to women who are still in their waiting season, to not get discouraged, but to wait on God, you know, and it's what you do in that meantime.
right.
It is what you do in that waiting season. You know that God is going to come through, because God said, I will give you the desires of your heart if you delight yourself in me. So you know that is going to happen. It's going to happen in God's timing. So that was good. That was good. And you also mentioned about having people around you, people who are not only that you're going to pour into, but who can also pour into you. So we have to be careful of the company that we keep. Make sure we don't have leeches, those that are just snatching and trying to pull us down. So who are some of the people that you have in your circle that has poured into you, that has encouraged you, that have strengthened you on this journey?
Okay, so it's I don't I'm not one to like say per se lose friends, but sometimes you go through life and you go through journeys, and some relationships are temporary and or for a season wherever you were in that phase in life. And necessarily, and it's so cliche, but they always say like, oh, the people that you lose aren't the ones that, that's supposed to be where you're going. But there's some truth to that. Like it have been times, or a time rather, in my life where you're like, well, what's happening? Because I'm not one to lose friends. I'm a very good friend. I'm a very good listener. But just sometimes relationships shift as your life shifts and your purpose shifts and where you're going or the journey that you're on, that person's path just does not parallel the same or mimic the same path that you're going. So my circles have always been extremely small. First and foremost, my mom is like one of my best friends. Okay. And it's so funny because I had asked my cousin, who is also one of my best friends, I had asked, or sometimes I just often ask women in general, like, we have our parents, your mom, but is your mom also your friend? Sometimes people don't view their mom as their friend also. But I can honestly say that I've been blessed to not only have a mom, but my mom is my friend. Both of my parents, first of all, are super supportive. I cannot ask for a more supportive set of parents. I've been around a long time, okay, with these two. I'm just saying, if you know, you know. I always the running joke is I'm always like, listen, I was there. Don't try to play me. I was there. I've been there from the beginning. Okay, I'm the first child.
Right.
I come from a household that my parents were relatively young. They got married very, very, very young. They had me very, 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 very young. So I've been around through all phases. And I've come to grow as an adult, as a woman who values the importance of having a relationship with their parents. Like my mom is, they are transparent. I can tell her anything. I can go to her with anything and get sound advice. Sometimes we don't always agree with what our parents say, but there is something to be said for taking in information. I've always said that if you're not growing, then you're not living. Like at the end of the day, you should never be too old to learn something. I don't care how old you are. When people are speaking, it is something to be said for you listening. And you don't always have to agree. You don't always have to confirm, but you can take in that information and then try to either apply it or assess it to your life. Sometimes you don't even get it until 6 months, a year, 6 years later, until some event happens or something happens. You're like, oh, I understand now. I've realized, what they said or what they meant. So my circles are very small. My mom being also, her and my dad being my pastors, so that they serve multi roles in my life. So that's very instrumental. That weighs very heavy on me because we have a lot of dynamics. But again, there's something to be said about when you can like vacation with your parents, when you can hang out with your parents, when you can go, play with your parents, when you can go over and hang out and eat and cook and laugh and joke and watch movies. And there's something to be said about that type of relationship and be able to have a talk both spiritually and naturally that's sound. A conversation that is sound spiritually and naturally. My cousin Kim, which you guys see in all of my photos, you always see Kim traveling with me. She is, come on, your cousins are your first friends, right? You grow up with them. They're your first friends. You go to school with them. You have play dates with them. You have sleepovers with them. Now, listen, all family members are not created equal. I'm going to be honest. Okay. Right. Sometimes, and they say all the time, blood doesn't necessarily make you thicker, than water. So there are friendships out there where you have sisterhoods and people that have just grown into that space of really being about having your back, not about being in competition with you, but about genuinely having your back, sincerely being a friend to you, sincerely being someone that helps you, that pushes you, that encourages you, that prays for you, that prays with you, that really meshes with who you are and the dynamics of who you are as a person, your characteristics. So I have a few friends.
Oh, I think she's frozen. Did we lose her?
Are we good? Okay, we're good.
You're back.
So my circles again are very, very small. I have my sisters. Of course, I come from a family of, I have two sisters. So the three of us, at the end of the day, we're the product of Alex and Teresa Bryant, and there's nothing that can cut or sever that. We're going to take care of each other, regardless of whether we like each other today or don't like each other tomorrow. We're going to take care of each other because we're sisters. So There's nothing and no one that can sever that bloodline there. And then I have my bestie sister, homegirl, auntie, Sonji. Everybody knows, so she's my
Mhm.
girl. She's all over my page too. Um, and again, my parents were so young. You know, my aunts and uncles, they were my first friends too, because they were so young too. So you know, they had to take me with them. My parents were working. I went with them. I went with, you know, we played together. Me and Sala, we rode our first roller coaster together. We were like 6 and 10, you know, 4 and 10. We rode our first roller coaster at Great Adventures together. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I had that family dynamic and that I do have those few friends. I'm not one that needs a whole bunch of friends. I don't need to be around a whole bunch of people. I've learned very, very, very young that I had been separated, if you will, pulled apart, not necessarily getting invited to everything. And, you know, sometimes that plays on your childhood, and then you people carry that into their adulthood. Why was I always excluded? Oh, I'm a church girl. Oh, but nobody wants to invite me to the party. I want to go to the party too. I want to go to here. I want to go there. But sometimes you just can't be everywhere, and you're not supposed to be in certain environments, or you're not just called to certain spaces, and that's okay. And it takes a level of maturity to understand that, you know what, I haven't been counted out. I haven't been excluded. I'm exactly like you were saying earlier, where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there. Because I don't know what would have happened if I was there in the wrong place at the wrong time. People say all the time, oh man, this happened. Oh, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That happened. This happened. And so I just thank God that, you know, I've grown to a place of maturity and understanding some of these things as a woman.
Wow, that's good. And it's good that you understand that now. But you mentioned being a PK kid, as we call it. Both your parents are pastors. Were always in the church. Your grandmother was a pastor, so church was always around you. You know, you were brought up and raised in the church. Was that ever a challenge, as you mentioned, feeling singled out sometimes, not being invited to the parties? I know you understand it now why you were not always included, but what was it like then? How did you feel then being
Oh,
seen?
okay, so I was very young when my parents started to go to church. Believe it or not, me and my middle sister, my parents were not in church when they had us. Neither of my parents were in church. The only child that they had in church was Shekinah, the baby girl. If y'all know her, go get her music, iTunes, Apple Music. She's got a
Come
few
on
songs
with that
out
plug
there.
in.
Hello,
Hello.
amazing songs out there. Shekinah
Yes,
Bryant Music, okay?
yes,
Shekinah Bryant Ministry. She's the bomb. Go get
yes,
her
it is.
music because it's really good,
Yes,
okay?
it
And I'm not
is.
just saying that because I'm a sister, because I would be like, it's really good,
It's
okay?
really
It's
good.
really good.
It's really good.
So she's really, really gifted. She is the one that was birthed into, you know, ministry. My parents were already in church and whatnot. So me and my sister, although I was very, very, very young, I still have, my mom always says, like, you don't remember that. How you remember? I'm like, listen, I was there. I remember a lot. Okay. Don't underestimate me. Okay. Because I remember a lot. So I do have some memories in transitioning from then to now. And so, like everybody, I'm going to say everybody because I feel like everybody in the world comes to a crossroad in their lives.
Mhm.
And yes, there's a difference between naturally we grew up in church because our parents brought us, so you don't get to hear the voice of the Lord or get to have an experience where God is calling you per se, like just a regular person like my mom or my dad, where it's like, oh, I think I'm hearing something. I'm thinking something's telling me to go to church. I think I should go to church today. You know, we don't have those types of experiences because you're kind of already force fed into it. But everybody comes to a crossroad in life where it has to be a decision that is made. What are you going to do now as an individual? You don't even have to be an adult. I came to that revelation when I was a child. This
Mhm.
is the life that I wanted to live. This is the decision that, yes, this Jesus that I have been serving vicariously through other adults, through my parents, now I want to serve for myself.
Mhm.
I've decided that he's done enough for me. I've seen results of my own prayers. Sometimes, you know, you got to test the waters. Well, let me put this little prayer out there. Let me see if he going to do it for me. You know what I mean? Because you hear the old folks, the matriarchs and the patriarchs, yeah, I prayed about it, and the Lord did this and that and this, that. And you like, well, hold on. Now, I need a little something. I want to go to, listen, I want to go to the skating party this weekend. I didn't do my homework on Monday, but you know what? Let me see if he's gonna give me a pass. And it works, okay? And it works. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. But see, God knows how to meet you right where you are.
Right where you are.
Right where you are, okay? So guess what? Even a child shall lead them, right? Even a child shall lead them. So what? And that's why I have a heart for the children too, because you never know. You never ever know. You think they're not listening. You think they're not paying attention. You think they're on their phone. You think they're this, that, and the third. And they are, but they're learning just the same. They're listening to you, to the adults, to the people that are influential in their life, to the people that are around them. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference. So everybody comes to that crossroad in their life where they have to decide, you know what am I going to do? What am I going to choose? How do I want to live my life? And so, yes, when I was younger, it was like, okay, we can't do this. We can't do that. Oh, I'd like to do this. I'd like to do that. But, being, and maybe this was my process. This was my path. Being the firstborn child of very hardworking young parents, growing up in a household where I had a lot of responsibility, and I had to take on a role that was beyond my years. So I always joke about it. I'm like, I was a test dummy, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm good with that because I'm mature. I'm mature enough to know, listen,
right.
Parenting is not perfect either. There's no perfect parent. And I'm okay with that. They did the best with what they had. And guess what? I don't feel like I turned out too bad. So I'm all right. I'm good with that. So I've just been graced, thank God, with having a certain mindset to know that, listen, the glass is always half full. With lemons, I can make lemonade. And I'm good because the lemonade going to taste good. It's going to be the best lemonade I have had. It's going to be the best lemonade you have had if you come my way. You know what I mean? So it's about looking through the glass as optimistically. That's why the Bible says, think on the things that are good, honest, just, pure, and of a good report, right? Think on these things. So I think I try to keep a positive attitude and a pleasant emotion. I'm my biggest critic, but I beat myself up so much enough that you can't beat me up. You won't be able to beat me up because I already done given myself the pros and the cons. Okay, yeah, you could have made that decision a little better. Yeah, this is the consequence that you're gonna suffer because of that. But I'm a big girl. I made that decision. I'm putting my grown girl panties on and I'm gonna deal with it. So you can't beat me up. You can never take me to that place of being so low because I value myself enough because I've already done that. I've already rationalized strategically in my mind what it is that I'm doing and how it is that I need to execute where I'm going.
Wow. That's good. I like when you say you are your biggest critic, meaning I see the good in me and I see the bad in me, or the things that's not so good. I've seen the things that I've done and I've seen the things that I shouldn't done, and I'm aware of it. Aware of it. So it really sounds like you are really from a young age. And you mentioned being the firstborn. So maybe, and that's so good because a lot of times the firstborn child, they feel some kind of way. It's like, well, you let, the other siblings get away with certain things that I've never gotten away with. But the parents are like, well, I wasn't aware. I didn't know,
Right.
But you're saying, I don't mind. I was a test dummy, but God said, I will not put any more on you than you can bear.
Right.
That you can handle that. You can handle the pressure or the weight that you carry for the rest of your siblings. That is awesome. And this is why you are on Pearls of Wisdom.
Thank you.
Just dropping so many nuggets, just so many things that women can glean from. I want to ask you one more question that I have here. What is some advice that you would give to women who don't have the same mindset as you, who may have a complex about being the firstborn and getting all the slack for the siblings, who parents may not have raised them in church, who may have past trauma, but now they're adults. They kind of, they could be doing well in their life, but still holding on to some past pain, past trauma, past resentment, maybe with their parents or just with themselves. Advice would you give?
So some of the greatest advice that I could give to anyone is be true to yourself. Whatever that is, whatever your truth looks like, be true to yourself first, because that goes back to that reflective measure that I was talking about. If I can see the good in me and I can see the bad in me, I can recognize the bad in me, then I can change. I can do something about it. Be open-minded. Never be so closed off to, listen, everybody's not entitled to have an opinion. Okay. And I'm an advocate for that. Like, if I didn't ask for your opinion, I'm not necessarily warranting that you open up your mouth and tell me anything. But there is something about being willing to being teachable. Okay. So if you know you struggle in these areas and you really want to get healed from those areas, you have to be open to being taught how to get healed. You have to, and so many people are closed off because they're, now listen, your feelings are not irrelevant. And I've had to tell people all the time, listen, just because your feelings are different than my feelings doesn't make my feelings irrelevant. My feelings are what they are. But I'm true to myself that these are my feelings, okay? But I can change my feelings based on the information that I have, based on the guidance or that you have to give to me, what you have to say, if I am willing to take that in and really evaluate it. So I try to use everything as a learning curve, every encounter as a learning curve. Why am I encountering this person? Why am I having this conversation? What can I get from this conversation? Chew the meat, spit out the bones. Chew the meat, spit out the bones, because the meat can help you. The meat can help you in your situation if you're just true to yourself. And the other piece of advice that I can say is live one day at a time. Sometimes people take on too much because they want to be this person a year from now. They want to be this person a month from now. Change doesn't necessarily happen overnight. It didn't take an overnight experience for you to get to where you are, to the broken place that you're in. That was over time that you got more fortified, right? So it's going to take some time to break that down. But if you take it one day at a time and not live past today, yesterday took care of itself, today will take care of itself, and tomorrow will take care of itself. I can't tell you how many times I went to bed and said, you know what? Whew, I made it through the day. Just the day. Yeah, we have so much of life. Life is so busy that we're already a week out, a month out. Our calendars are full. But if we just take in today and say, you know what, I was a good person today. I evaluated myself today. I dealt with today. I messed up today in this area, but you know what, I'm going to fix that for tomorrow. If you're true to yourself and you take it one day at a time, keeping God centered, how could you go wrong? Because now you're teachable. A little effort goes a long way.
Yes.
A little effort. And listen, in relationship of any sort, as long as you're showing effort, people can work with that. People can work with you being a broken person if you're teachable. If you can learn, if you can glean from somebody else, if you're willing to learn. It's when you have an attitude about why you mad at your mama and why you mad at your father and why you mad at this and why you mad at the world and we didn't do it to you, that we have a problem. But as long as you kind of be soft about it, you know, I don't want to say be humble about it, if you will. If you're first honest with yourself, be honest with yourself. Yes, I'm hurting in this area. I'm broken in this place. And then live one day at a time. What can I do today to change how I feel for tomorrow?
Wow, that's good. That's good. Even in your brokenness, say, what can I do today to make tomorrow not like today? Because today I may be at a 5, but I will be at a 5 tomorrow.
Right.
Well,
but you can't expect to be at a 10 tomorrow. You know
Right.
what I mean? But we're just trying to get better than a 5 because you want to get to that 10, but people put these big expectations on themselves when it's like, let's just keep it simple. Let's just deal with the moment to get to tomorrow. Let's be happy about going to bed tonight so that we want to wake up in the morning.
Right. Wow, that's good.
Not wake up next week, next month. Wake up in the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning. So how do we get to that place?
Yeah.
Of wanting to see what tomorrow holds, how we can be better, how we can do better, what a healed person looks like for the more healed person tomorrow than today. What
Wow.
does that look like?
Wow. That's good.
But
That's
that's being honest. You
being
have to be
honest.
honest with yourself and say, I'm broken
I'm broken.
and
I
I
want
want to be healed,
knowing where you are, knowing where you are, not being in denial. Because you can
not being
fool
denied.
some of the people, but you can't fool yourself. Knowing where you are, knowing that you're broken, identify that I'm broken, and what got you to that place. If it's a bad relationship with your parents, how can I fix that? If
Yes.
it's me not being successful on my job, how can I fix that? You know, being happy with where you are right now, knowing that there is room for improvement, and what are the steps that I can take to improve my life.
Sometimes it takes being a little extra. People deal with things different ways, but I've often said, like, sometimes if I'm going throughout the day and I can feel an emotion in this moment right now, and I'm like, oh, I feel a little down, I'll stop whatever I'm doing. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, to focus on why I'm feeling this emotion. Okay. And that's what sometimes I feel like we miss. We don't take the time out to really self evaluate and self assess. Why am I having this emotion in this moment? What am I feeling? It could be something that triggered, something you said, something my teacher said, something my boss said that triggered me to have a specific emotion. But I literally stop what I'm doing and say, you know what, Kia, why are you feeling this way in this moment right now? I try to identify it with
Mhm.
something. Because if I can identify it with something, then I can decide whether it's something I can change
Mm.
or whether it's something I need to figure out how to get over because I can't change it. But if I don't first identify why I'm having this emotion, then I can't get to the other two steps. And so then the emotions become compiled till we have a whole layer of onions, and now we peeling back layers because we trying to get to the root,
Yeah.
and you got layer after layer after layer to deal with because you didn't deal with it in the moment.
Right.
See, I'm all about dealing with it, and especially at this day and age. You know what? Let me deal with it now so I don't have to deal with it later. If I address it now, if you look it in the eye, if you look in the mirror and face whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you're feeling in that moment, and saying, you know what? Let me evaluate this from this moment and this feeling and this emotion, why I'm having it, what am I identifying it
Mm.
with, and how can it be fixed? And if it can't, then get into a place of being able to let that go. Because
Mm.
stress is the number one killer in African American people. That's number
Yep.
one.
Okay.
In people in general, okay, but in African American people. So at the end of the day, how can I alleviate some of, because a lot of the stress, believe it or not, is what we put on ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't nobody else necessarily judging us as hard as we're judging
Yeah.
ourselves. And no one else is not as forgiving as we're not as forgiving of ourselves.
Ourselves. That's true.
So you're putting a lot on yourself. But if you can identify the emotion in the moment and say, you know what, this is because of this. This happened to me in my life, and this is why I'm feeling. This is why I'm feeling triggered, and this is why I'm feeling this in this moment. And you know what? I can change it. I cannot change it. I can fix it. I cannot fix it. If I can't fix it, I have to let it go.
Let it go. Wow, that's good. That's good. Being able to identify your triggers. And I like that, identifying it that moment, the moment that it happens. If you have to, like you said, stop everything that you're doing, because what I'm about to do in the next 5 minutes, I can't take this feeling with me
Right.
because it may contaminate my next 5 minutes.
Right.
It
Right.
may hinder my next 5 minutes. So let me handle this right now. Knowing your triggers, that is very, very important, to know what triggers you, what puts you in that mood. What puts you in that mood? What got you feeling that way? It could have been something somebody said to someone else, but it triggered a thought
Yep.
that you have experienced maybe 5, 6, 10 years ago. And that was never dealt with. So mindfulness, practicing being where you are, not only with your body, but also with your mind. Practicing mindfulness, knowing your triggers, knowing what triggers you, knowing what alter your emotions, and deal with it right then and there. I love that. I love that. I love that. Well, listen, you are dropping some jewels on tonight, and I can't see any comments, but I know we have some people on, and I know that they are being blessed. So if there are any comments in the comment section, I don't know if you can see any comments, But if there's any questions in the comment section that anyone may have for Nakia on tonight, you can just put those comments in the comment section, because she is definitely dropping some jewels on tonight, and just to let us know, where she is, a very successful young woman, and to let us know that it has not always been easy, but how did you get there? And what I'm hearing tonight is your mindset.
It is.
It's your mindset that got you there from the beginning to the end. And like you said, you could have been throwing lemonades, but I'm gonna make or lemons, but I'm gonna make lemonade with these lemons. It doesn't matter. There's a saying, if you throw me out, throw me with the wolves, I'm gonna come back leading a pack or something like
Right.
that. You have to be undefeated.
Right.
See yourself as being undefeated. I don't care what it is. I'm going to be undefeated in that situation because I'm practicing mindfulness. I'm going to be aware of my triggers. I'm going to be aware of what alters my emotions, my perception on life or different things, and I'm going to hit it head on. I'm going to hit it head on. Well, listen, thank you so much for consenting. Thank you so much for just dropping these pearls of wisdom, just dropping jewels to other young women to let them know to hold on, be strong, don't give up. And there's something you said, be true to yourself, take one day at a time, and keep God centered. Be
Yes.
true to yourself, take one day at a time, and keep God centered. That is something that we need to put on a t-shirt. Keep yourself, take one day at a time, and keep God centered. And that is how you got to where you are. And I believe that you're going to go so much further with that. Even when you retire, you're not going to retire.
Ah.
There's so much work for you to do. There's so many other women who need to glean from you, who needs to know how did you get to where you are. And what I'm hearing, as stated, is your mindset. Even the Bible says to be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So
Right.
everything starts off in your mind.
In your mind.
Everything starts off in your mind. You have to have a made up mind, a determination that I'm going to make it, that I'm not going to allow any obstacles. I'm not going to allow anything to alter my goal, because I
Right.
have a goal in mind. I have somewhere to go. I have somewhere to go. I can't stay here. So once again, thank you so much for
So,
consenting. Thank you for just being transparent on tonight. And we do have something for you. I got a text message as we were on, and the text message said that your package is delivered.
okay, thank
So
you.
I do have something for you, and I will definitely get it to you. As soon as I get it in my hands, I will get it to you, just to show you that I appreciate you, and just for you to be encouraged also. As you stated, you don't always want to pour into people, but you need someone to pour into you too. We pray that God would surround you with those that are going to pour into you. That God will surround you with people who are going to continue to strengthen you, and those that mean you no good, you will be able to discern their spirit, right? Discern their spirit to know that that's a wolf in sheep clothing.
Mhm.
That you have to be mindful of those, because when God has a destination for you, and God has a plan, God has that expected end, of course, the enemy's going to come. He's going to try to, say, no, 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 you can't be what God wants you to be. But he can't stop that. He can't hinder that. So we pray that God will continue to bless you, that God will continue to strengthen you and keep you faithful and focused and committed on the things of him, and everything else is gonna just work in your favor. Amen.
Okay,
Everything in
that,
your
thank
listen,
you.
I'm gonna get you to come back. As you were talking, I want you and Nikki on the same platform, because the
Okay.
two of you are just amazing. And I just feel that I know, Nikki, you're watching. So I want you to get ready. I want you to get ready. I believe that there's just so many jewels that you guys can give to other women. So I hope you will come back. I hope you will
Yes,
come back.
yes.
And I want to set that up. It's going to be a different type of platform,
Okay.
but it's going to be hitting it hard. It's going to be
Okay.
hitting it hard. But we want women to be strengthened. We want women to be encouraged, and we have to strengthen and encourage other women, with what God has blessed us with. So thank you so
You're
much. Listen,
welcome.
God bless you, and I will talk to you soon. Thank
Yes,
you to our
yes,
viewers. Thank
God
you to our
bless
viewers. Thank
you.
you for watching. If you came on late, listen, you have to go to the beginning of this broadcast and you have to watch it from the beginning. It will bless your entire life. Listen, thank you so much for watching. Everyone have an amazing night. Have an amazing weekend, and God bless you. Listen, meet me on Monday for live at 5. We're praying every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 a.m. Listen, set your alarm clock because God is up to something. Listen, God bless you. Have an amazing night.
Bye.
Bye.